Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike Green. I'm one of the owners of 1AAuto. I want to help you save time and money repairing and maintaining your vehicle. I'm going to use my 20 plus years experience restoring and repairing cars and trucks like this to show you the correct way to install parts from 1AAuto.com. The right parts installed correctly. That's going to save you time and money. Thank you, and enjoy the video.
In this video, we're going to show you how to fix a rear power window motor on this 97 Dodge Intrepid, same as in 93 to 97. Tools you'll need are a Phillips screwdriver, a 10mm wrench, as well as a 10mm socket and ratchet. And on this vehicle, the window motor is actually in good shape, so we don't replace it, but we just show you the process. Use a 10mm wrench to loosen your negative battery cable and remove it. And obviously you want to reconnect it at the end of the repair. Okay, to remove the door panel, pretty easy. There's 4 screws. One here on the back, one down here in the door pull, one right in behind the door handle, and then one right in the front. Remove those. Okay, we'll fast forward here as we remove those screws. Once those are removed, kind of pull the top of the panel out, lift up, pull this out a little bit, lift up, come it off. Okay, once you get the door apart, do 2 things. There's a clip here, and then this rod comes off for your door handle. Then over here, there is a connector for your courtesy light. Just kind of prying that. There's a little tab right there. I pried that out with my finger. Disconnect the connector. Then pull this off of the door. And then your door panel is still connected with a harness there, but you can kind of lay it down out of the way and do any work you need to do. Okay, here's my window regulator assembly. You're going to either loosen or remove a series of bolts. Loosen this bolt, and then you can move it up and out. This bolt up and out, and then this nut down here. Okay, and then there's 4 bolts that hold the regulator to the door. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And here is your connector. And you want to push down on a tab here and work that connector free. Okay, now I'm just going to remove those bolts. You need a 10mm wrench. This bolt here, this nut. Just loosen up. Basically, if your window is stuck all the way in the up position, remove all those bolts the whole way, and then you can slide your regulator down and get to the nuts that hold the regulator to the window, and I'll show you those in a minute. Now, if your window's in a position where you can see this nut right in the track here and this one in the track here, okay, then you'll want to loosen those up. If not, you'll want to take off the regulator and lower the window down to where you can see those, and then loosen them. Loosen it. Okay, as you can see here, the window's loose and I can move it with my hand. Be careful when you do that you don't pinch your hand between the regulator anywhere. Okay, once you have those loosened, then you take the track and you slide it. Okay, so you can get the track off the nut. Hold your window, pull the track, and you take your window, pull all the way up into place. Okay, so I used a little painter's tape to hold the window up. Felt a little loose, I didn't want it sliding down on my fingers. So now that's all disconnected. You'll take your regulator and slide it right out. See my motor's still connected here. I'm just gonna, there's just a tab here, press with my thumb and slide the connector right off that clip. Okay, here's the regulator out of the vehicle. Turn it over and you can see that there's 3 bolts that hold the motor to the regulator. Interestingly, on this vehicle there are 3/8 or 3/8 fits them best. When I did the front regulator it was a 10mm, but remove these 3 bolts. And we'll speed it up here as we're just removing those bolts. Once you remove those 3 bolts, the motor comes right off. As I said, this motor is actually in good shape. The only thing to note here is when you do put a new motor on, okay, first get it to mesh with the regulator. These are self-tapping screws, so when you put them in the first time to a new motor, you'll definitely want to make sure you're using a ratchet and socket with it. Okay, speed up again as I put those bolts back in. You want to put them in and then tighten them. You want to tighten them up firm, probably about, I'd say 15 foot-pounds. Don't over-tighten them. Put the track in, slide it back, and in. Make sure you have all the tabs in behind the door. You can see I have 1 bolt still here. Okay, so now it's hung up with that bolt. Start in a couple of the other ones here. Okay, now it's just a matter of putting all those bolts, the 10mm bolts that hold the regulator in place, put them back in, tighten them up firm. You don't want to over tighten them, but you do want them to be firm. And then you want to reconnect your window motor and also reconnect your battery, which will, because you want to move your window to get it in the optimal place. Okay, so with that connected, I've reconnected the battery and I have the key on, and now you can just use your power window switch both to just kind of test your motor, make sure it's running well, and then also to get your track right in the right position so it's easy to reconnect the window. Okay, and that's basically with it the same level as this cutout here. So now I'm just going to remove our painter's tape. And bring the window down slowly. Okay, so back here you can see, get that bolt through the track, and then up here, push it through the track. Now slide the track back. Okay, and now tighten up those 2 nuts. This back in, slide it in there, bring it down on this nut down here, slide it into place. Okay, to reinstall your door panel, there's 3 tabs at the bottom. You start those into the slots. Okay, and the door handle can just kind of rest there. Okay, over here, bring this back up, connect it. And put this clip back in. And bring the door panel closer. Connect our door handle. And make sure your door lock is in place. Okay. Hold the door panel up some, push it against the door. Here. Make sure the top goes in all correctly. Make sure it's nice and flush all the way around. Now we can reinstall our screws. And we'll fast forward as we reinstall those screws. You want to tighten them firm. Don't over tighten them though, you'll end up stripping them and then they won't hold anything well.
We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.1aauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.